Imagine a referee reaches into his pocket, pulls out a red card, and sends a player off the pitch. Your team is now down to 10 men. It is a disaster, but the game goes on. But what happens if it keeps happening? What happens if another player gets sent off, and then another, and then another? What happens if a team literally runs out of players? Most sports have a backup plan for this. In the NBA, if players foul out and there is no one left on the bench, the last player can actually stay in the game. In the NFL, you just play with fewer guys or put a punter at quarterback. But football is different. Football has a definitive, terrifying breaking point, and if you cross it, the game does not just get harder, the game instantly dies. To understand how a team can run out of players, you first need to understand the absolute baseline. A standard football match starts with 11 players on each side. If a player commits a terrible foul, gets 2 yellow warning cards, or throws a punch, they get a red card. Red means you are banished to the locker room, and your team is not allowed to replace you. You play the rest of the match short-handed. But the official rule book, written by a strict group called IFAB, states very clearly that a match cannot continue if either team has fewer than 7 players. That means the magic number is 5. If a single team receives 5 red cards in one match, they are down to 6 players. The moment that 5th player walks off the pitch, the referee blows the whistle, waves his arms, and ends the game right then and there. It is called an automatic abandonment. So, what happens to the score? Imagine you are an underdog team playing against a massive powerhouse like Brazil in the World Cup. You are losing 10-0. You decide to intentionally get 5 red cards to stop the misery. Does the game end at 10-0? The rules state that if a match is abandoned because one team ran out of players, that team suffers an automatic 3-0 forfeit loss. However, if the opposing team was already winning by a bigger scoreline, like 10-0, the governing bodies usually uphold the higher score to punish the offending team. You cannot cheat the system by getting kicked out. Now, you might think this is an impossible hypothetical scenario. Players are professionals, right? They wouldn't let this happen. But it has happened. In fact, it happened in one of the most famous, chaotic matches in South American history, known as the Battle of the Bergantinos. In a single match, the referee handed out so many red cards for fighting that one team was left with only 6 eligible players. The referee had no choice but to stop the game, look at his watch, and call the whole thing off. There is another way a team can run out of players, and it doesn't involve fighting. It involves injuries and a hidden tactical gamble. In modern football, a manager can only make 5 substitutions per match. If a coach uses all 5 substitutions, and then 2 players snap their hamstrings or collide heads, the team cannot bring anyone else on. They are stuck. If they drop below 7 players due to injuries after using all their subs, the match is abandoned the exact same way. This creates an incredible psychological chess match. Imagine it is the World Cup knockout stage. A game goes into extra time. A coach has to decide, do I use my final substitution now to get fresh legs, or do I save it just in case someone breaks a bone in the 119th minute? One wrong guess, and you are playing a historic tournament match with 9 men. The rule exists for a simple reason: safety and dignity. Watching 6 players try to cover a massive green field against 11 professionals is not a sport. It is a track meet. It is a slaughter. So if a team loses its mind, gets 5 red cards, or suffers a catastrophic wave of injuries with no substitutions left, the game vanishes. The lights stay on, but the match is over. If you want to understand the rest of the hidden, chaotic rules that govern the world's biggest sport, hit that subscribe button. We are breaking down the game simply, with absolutely zero nonsense.